the more difficult to take base first, the one out in front, and then that allows you at the more critical time where there are units fighting and it's difficult to get a base up. Let's take that really easy third base. And Zerg vs. Zerg can be one of those kind of matchups. It really depends on these openers. Right now we're looking for Overlords. Where are the Overlords? There they are, spawning in the top right. We do have an Overlord play from both players. It is the Blue Zerg Namshar.
And spawning in the bottom left-hand position. He's down a game. Can he bring it back with Zergwave?
Zergwave, fan favorite. Always our printf in the chat. Going to go ahead. And actually, this is interesting. Quasar, printf. That's a name that I've seen so many times, but never have tried to pronounce out loud, and I'm realizing there are multiple ways to pronounce it now. I'm going to call you printf. Printf, big fan. Zergwave is sure that he will win the next 2 games. Let's find out if his bold prediction can come true here. Earlier gas from Zergwave. Namshar going up to a higher drone count. Gonna take the advantage here. It's kind of the situation you want. If you drone just a little bit more than your opponent, that defender's advantage negates any sort of aggression that might come out from your opponent, and then you end up in the lead. So just that one drone being able to mine is going to negate a lot of the advantage that Zergwave trying to get here with the slightly more aggressive move. But when I say slightly, that is not even... I can't even properly encapsulate how tiny the advantages are at this stage of the game. But you have to be careful. Sometimes they can spiral out of control if you don't pay close attention to them.
Yeah, so far it looks like we're not seeing any of those kind of big plays, big like Ling Bang plays. So hopefully we'll get to see a more drawn out game. It feels like it's kind of rare in ZVZ sometimes, where the players kind of just pulling the aggression switch as quickly as possible.
Yeah, it's just there's so much explosivity and lethality in the early game ZVZ, likened very much to a knife fight. Play the West Side Story music, and you know the Zergs rumble out and do their craziness, and sometimes we can move on into the mid game. Zergwave, interesting build here. This is one of those kind of situations that you can go for, and you just go for really fast roaches, and you just skip the whole Ling Bane phase completely. It can be very dangerous if your opponent goes for a super aggressive play, but upon scouting that second Overlord, as soon as you see the second Overlord, you know no early pool is incoming, and that scouting allowed Zergwave to go ahead and take this fast Roach Warren without fear.
On the other hand, Namshar did just run a pair of Lings into Zergwave space, and he did see the Roach Warren, so he knows exactly what his opponent has.
Yep. Zergwave going for a pretty fast layer. He's teching quite aggressively, whereas Namshar going for the faster third base. This can be a bit dangerous, especially with Namshar queuing up 20 Lings. The aggression will begin. He's got an Overlord in a pretty nice position, but it's moving out of that position right now for fear of Queens. He's starting to build up these Zerglings. This is the really important thing to do. Don't send out your big attack right away. You build up, and you hide it so that your opponent gets baited into building too many drones, and then you run in. Zergwave getting supply blocked right now. This is not the time for a supply block, as Lings are streaming across the map here, and Overlord's getting almost killed off. Gonna pull back there as he does see the Lings coming in. Getting into position, so important. This is a really important creep tumor. So glad that he has this in place here. And he's going to... Oh no, the wall!
Wow.
Not quite correct. I thought it looked a bit off. Didn't say anything. No transfuse. Oh my god, he was 2 energy away from a transfuse. These Lings are streaming into the map, and this is looking so terrible for Zergwave. Roaches are out on the way. They do have that range advantage, but they're a bit split up right now. Nice surround here from Namshar. The positioning so critical to this defense. Looks like he's going to have enough. He's going to really benefit from that fast tech up to the Roach tech. Oh my god. Nidus network on the way for Zergwave behind this.
Ooh. Yeah, that's still, even though he didn't lose any drones or anything to that push, he lost his queens, which he really wanted to go with this Nidus build because being able to transfuse your roaches makes your push so much more powerful.
Oh, and even being able to transfuse the Nidus network as everything's spewing out of it here. We do have lots of units streaming out here. Oh no, unfortunately the Lings first. They really don't get power for time there, but moving out, we do have these roaches fighting it out here. Roach counts are very, very similar here. Slight advantage to Namshar at the battle. Gonna force Zergwave to retreat here. Namshar at 39 drones on 3 base, and that's it. GG, Namshar moves on. I don't know. I mean, drone count and base count was definitely way ahead for Namshar there. I feel like Zergwave could have played that a bit more, but he did feel like he was at too big of a disadvantage to continue on, and he will be eliminated from the group, unfortunately for him. But fortunately for Namshar, he's got one more shot at it. If he just wins this next match, he will be the second player moving out. But it is certainly not going to be easy. We're going to have Zaka versus Namshar rematch.
Yeah. So this will be interesting because Zaka like kind of stomped Namshar in their first series. Like neither of the games were particularly close. Namshar kind of just died. And I want to see if he like changes it up or pulls out some builds he's been saving. Because if he keeps doing what he was doing, Zaka will just beat him again.
Yeah, absolutely. So the suspenders have been set up. Fence will not be dropped. Don't worry about it. All is well. And we will be moving into the next match. But first, go ahead and get something fantastic for yourself to enjoy with this game. Perhaps a giant tub of ice cream. I don't know. Whatever you want. Be right back. See you in a bit.